So today we are looking at a question that will enable us prepare, income statement for educational institutions. Okay, educational institutions cutting across private institutions to public institutions. But before we proceed, you should understand that you will need a couple of topics to enable you to understand how to prepare this report for your management as an accountant, or how to prepare it as knowledge for students or learners of this subject or course. Remember, you can actually get the textbook, okay, for yourself, or you sponsor copies, okay. You can reach me on the number displayed to get details. And then let's also not forget that jadosconsulting.com have classes for various topics, okay, that will help you as an accountant, as an accounting student, or as a business owner that is interested in understanding how reports are prepared. We have various categories, okay, from main classes to exercise for examination students, or for practicing accountant, I want to know how to prepare account for specific industry. So we call that industry-based question and answers. You can simply click on that and then proceed to the course and then take the classes. If you have questions, you can reach me on the numbers displayed, and classes are entirely free. And then you can as well support us by donating, okay, into the account displayed at your will. So basically, like I said, educational institutions, okay, cut across what? Let's say private, your private institutions. It can be primary, it can be secondary, it can be what? Tertiary, okay? The same thing with your what? Public, okay? It can be primary, it can be secondary, it can be what? Tertiary. Primary here, you have your primary schools, nursery schools, and all that. Secondary here, you know what I mean. And then tertiary, like your polytechnics, your universities, college of educations, and all that. So you can have it as a private sector investment, or you can have it as a public sector investment. But what you must understand here is that as a private sector investment, it is owned by private individuals, okay, that establish the school or the organization or the institution for students to learn at a fee. It means that if you're going to a private school, whether primary, secondary, or tertiary, you're required to pay school fees based on the school that you're going to. For instance, if you're a student of Lagos State Polytechnic, for instance, you pay school fees. If you're a student of Northwestern or Southwestern University, you pay school fees. If you're a student of Leeds City, you pay school fees. Student of Covenant, you pay school fees. All those private establishments or private organizations of learning, okay, will charge school fees, okay, to enable students to learn from the institution. But for public institutions, from primary to secondary to even tertiary, okay, the school fees are highly subsidized, okay, that you cannot compare to what private schools are actually paying. So most of the times these institutions depend on on the government. They depend on the government to generate revenues in form of allocations, to be able to run the businesses or run the institution according to standard. So even salaries of teachers in public institutions are paid from the allocations from the government. Although in recent times the federal government has come up with a central system where they pay teachers of tertiary institutions directly from the federal government, or the central level, maybe the Accountant General's office and all that. But then what I need you to understand is that whichever way, if you're reporting the school or the institution as an entity on its own, such allocation or such payment will be provided for, okay, accordingly in the book of the institution. So despite the fact that they are paying centrally the salaries of the teachers or the lecturers, you still have to be able to make appropriate provisions to be able to report the institution as an entity separate from the central government in that perspective. So if you have issues with understanding what provision is all about, you can take your classes on provisions. That will help you be able to make provisions for expense item, income items, and all that. So, but you must understand that as a public institution, school fees are subsidized because the government funds what I call the institution. But for private institutions, students pay the school fees, okay, to have access to what learning. So remember, we're not able to tell where the incomes are. But aside from that, in private schools, for instance, there are other sorts of of revenues. Some schools have boarding facilities. They charge students for boarding fees, and then some schools involve themselves in other activities like inter-house sport. They charge students for inter-house sport, and then they make some money out of that as well. They also charge students for what they call it, external examination. For instance, secondary schools, for instance, some write WAEC, some write NECO, some write IGCSE. They write various examinations. Okay, the school will charge them and then register them for such exams. So most times the school makes some money out of these fees. So you must be able to tell, okay, when an item is an income item, when an item is an expense or cost item. In schools, private schools, for instance, most of the private schools supply the stationeries, supply the uniforms, okay, to the students. So all these are taken out of the school fee that they charge the students. So you must be able to tell, okay, when an item is an income, when an item is a cost. From public sector perspective, students usually get their stationeries themselves, okay, and then this does not form part of the cost of the institution. But you must be able to tell that where the institution is incurring the cost, okay, based on the learning that they are trying to give to students. You should be able to record them properly or accordingly in order to give a proper view of the performance of the institution to the management or those in charge of managing the institution. So basically, you must understand that it is also your normal accounting procedures. Okay, just that the items and the terms used must be related to the environment in which you're operating, which is educational institution. There are other institutions that are professional bodies. Those ones, okay, let's call them professional bodies. Professional bodies, like ICANN and all that. Okay, they are also make their revenues from subscriptions. As a member, you pay annual subscriptions. Okay, and then aside from that, they do trainings, what we call mandatory or compulsory or continuous trainings, okay, for members. So they invite members for updated trainings, and then members pay and then undergo such trainings from time to time. And then they can as well have what they call benevolent funds. What I'm trying to say is that meaning individuals that donate to such institution to enable it improve on its content. Don't forget that there are some private schools that are also charity based. Okay, there are some private schools that are charity based. So you must know that because the charity based, it means that our students are not paying school fees, okay, to actually have access to learning. But in that case, the owners must find ways to generate revenues, which in most cases are donations from maybe the owner itself, or the owner of the school himself, or from other kind-hearted individuals. Okay, they will donate to the purse of the institutions to enable the institution run its academic calendar. So basically, you must understand that as an institution, if you're not charging school fees, you're getting allocation from the government, or you're getting grants somewhere, or you're getting donations somewhere to be able to finance the day-to-day running of the institution. But then you must understand, aside from these other charity models, basically most private schools will charge school fees. Even public schools charge school fees. Just that private schools have higher school fees compared to public schools. Public schools still have some sort of fee subsidization from the government. So basically, this is how an educational institution operates. So you must understand their source of revenue, and then understand how their cost and expenses go, so you're able to report them accordingly. So basically, our advice is also go to jalusconsulting.com to take your classes, your income statement, your trading and profit and loss account, okay, your balance sheet. These are also relevant in preparing statements for educational institution. Your adjustments, your depreciation, they are all relevant, okay, in preparing industry-based statements. So if you have questions, you can reach me on the numbers displayed. So let's quickly take the question so we can quickly understand how to prepare income statement for and education institution. They say the following has been extracted from the books of Fairview College. So this is more like a secondary school scenario. Fairview College for the year ended at the 1st of 2017. So we have tuition fees, senior category, tuition fees, junior category, land and building, furniture fees and equipment, vehicles, inventory of uniforms at 1st January 2017, inventory of stationery at 1st January 2017, stationeries purchased, uniforms supplied, salaries and wages, charges for external exams, registration for external exams, charges for annual sport festival, and then we also have what sporting activities, cash at bank, creditors, owners equity, bank loan, other administrative and running expenses, debtors, plant and machinery. So we have additional information here. They said the college charges $1,500,000 for senior students and $1,200,000 for junior students per session. At the end of the year, 10 senior students were still owing tuition fee for the third term, while 2 junior students already paid fees for the following year. Tuition fees are to increase by 10% in the following year. Number 2, salaries in arrears amounted to $300,000. Interest on loan is $1.2 million. Then we have information through the inventories that the 1st December 2017 uniforms is $900,000, stationeries is $680,000. Depreciation was charged on all assets except land and building at 10% using straight line method. You are required to prepare income statement for the year ended at 1st December 2017. So basically, that is the balances extracted from what? From the trial balance. So you must understand that at this level, you should know how to arrive at your trial balance. If you don't understand that, then go to jarviscontent.com to take classes on your transaction entries in your ledgers, in form of double entry, balancing the ledgers, extracting your trial balance, treating errors, okay, and then your adjustments, preparing the income statement to the balance sheet and all that. Okay, so you should go to jarvisconsulting.com to take that class if you don't understand. So that will help you have a good understanding of what we are doing now. As a matter of fact, I don't even understand how you're able to work in any industry if you don't understand this, your basic accounting principles, because they are fundamental, they are foundation upon which any report is based. If you do not understand this process, then you might be depending on someone to prepare them for you, which is not usually very okay. If you're leading a team, you must have an understanding of what you are leading them for. So as a matter of fact, this trial balance is arrived at after preparing your basic entries in the ledgers to the double entry principles, balancing the ledgers, and then transferring them to the trial balance. Okay, so you must know how these things are. So with that understanding, you're able to tell if an item is on the debit side of the trial balance, you know how it is behaving. If it's on the credit side, you know how it is behaving. So we've already treated that on jarvisconsulting.com. An asset item behaves as an asset, I'll put it in the debit side. Expense item behaving as an expense, put it in the debit side. Income items, credit. Liability items are credited. Go to jarvisconsulting.com to take the classes for free. And don't forget to support by donating, because of course we're spending money to improve the online classes every day, and then we believe that if you want to support us, you can support us by donating to the accounts displayed. So now let's quickly prepare the account. So what do we have there? We have this is called Fairview College. Okay, so for preparing for Fairview College, so let's prepare income statements. So we say income statement for the year ended 31st December 2017. You see, this will make you understand that we have accountants almost everywhere. So let's go turn over. Let's call it note 1. So we'll come here, we'll say note what? 1, right? So what are the sales of an educational institution? I already explained it. It's either you're charging school fees or what? You're getting charity donations from other people to help you fund the school. But here we can see that it's what we call tuition fees here. Tuition fees here is more like school fees. So basically this is a revenue, is the sales to what? To the school. So let's say tuition fees. This is senior category, I guess. So tuition fees, senior category. So what do we have there? Tuition fee here is 350 million. So let's say 350,000. Okay. But we have additional information there. Look at what they are saying here. They're saying that the college charges 1.5 million for senior students and 1.2 million for junior students per session. Per session is 1 year. And at the end of the year, 10 senior students are still owing tuition fees for the 3rd term. So we have one session to be 1 year. How many terms do we have in a year? We have 3 terms. Okay? So it means that per term, each student is paying how much? 500,000. So if we have 1 year, which is one session, to be 1.5 million, okay, so that means one term, we have 3 terms in a session. That will be 1,500,000 divided by what? 3. That's 500,000 abi per what? 10. And they're saying that what? 10 senior students are still owing tuition fee for the 3rd term. So one student is owing 500,000 for 3rd term. So 10 students, that will be 500 times what? 10. So that's what? 5 million, I guess. Yeah. So 5 million naira is still being owed by the senior students. Remember, I already taught you what we call accrual. You can have accrued income or accrued expenses. Accrued incomes are incomes earned but money not yet received. Accrued expenses are expenses incurred but payment not yet made. In this case, you can tell that the school fee here has been earned but has not been what? Received. So we have 10 students still owing for 3rd term, which is 500,000 per term times 10 students. That's 5 million. So that will increase the what? The school fee for what? The senior category. Okay? Go to jadosconsult.com to take classes on what? On accruals and prepayment. So we're going to add up. So we add what? Accrued tuition fees. Okay? To be how much? 5 million, right? So 5 million there would be what? That's 5,000, right? We're adding. So what do we have here? 0,00553. So we have tuition fees, junior category. What do we have there? The question says 270,000. So we have 270,000. So if we're adding, we have 0,005. This is 2 plus 3, 5. This is 625 million. But there's another one. They said what? They said 2 junior students already paid fees for the following year. Tuition fees have to increase by 10% in the following year. Okay, so already we know that junior students are paying what? Junior students is senior students. So junior students, 1 year is 1,200,000. So one term will be 1,200,000 over what? 3. So I think that's what? 400,000 per what? 10. They're not saying that what? It will increase by 10% in the following year. So that means next term, okay, we'll have 400,000 times 1.1, which is equal to how much? I think 10% of 400 is 40,000. That's 440,000 naira per what? 10. So they're saying that what? 2 junior students already paid fees for the following year. So that means times what? 2, which is 880,000. So there is what we call prepaid income. Prepaid income in the junior category. So what do? Remember, prepaid incomes are deducted. So we're going to say less prepaid tuition fee, which is how much? 880,000, right? But now it is for a year, so that will now be times 3, right? That will be times 3. Okay, so in order not to waste our time, we could just say fee for 1 year, tuition fee for 1 year, which is 1,200,000 times 1.1. So what do we have? 10% of we have 1,200,000 times 1.1. So we have 1,320,000. So this is it. But if you do this one too, you say 880,000 times 3. Excuse me, please. Okay. 880,000 times 3. That's what do you have here? 2,664,000. But remember, this is for one person. So if you now multiply this by 2, what do you have? 1,320,000 times 2. You still have 2,600,000. Okay, 640,000. So I want to believe that is what it is. So we have 400,000 times 1.1. That's 440,000 times 2, 880. Then times 3. That's 2,640,000. So if you see that if we go this way, it will be the same thing as going this way. So what we have done here is to first of all convert it to per term, then per term, okay, times the number of students, then times the number of terms. That's giving us 6,740,000. Then if we do it per year, 1 year is 1.2. Then increase by 10%, that will be times 1.1, that was 1,320,000. Then times 2 students, that will be 2,740,000. So whichever approach you use, you're still going to get 2,740,000. But it is an accrued income. Because an accrued income, okay, we are going to deduct. So we have 2,740,000. So we have 2,640. 2,640. So we take this out. What do we have there? What do we have there? We have 625,000 minus 2,640. So what do I have? I have 622,360. So this is your turnover. 622,360. So what's the next thing? We say cost of sales. That's note 2. Okay. So what do we say now? We say note 2. Okay. That's cost of sales. So what is the school selling? Basically, if you go to most private schools, when you pay your school fees, it covers the stationaries, the uniforms, and all that. Although in some schools, they will actually differentiate it, but at the end of the day, whatever you're paying covers uniforms, covers your stationery that you use. So what that is, they are selling knowledge. So what they need to have access to knowledge is the uniform, the stationaries, and all that, which schools actually give. Most private schools do that, okay? But in public schools, they might have to be the one to buy their stationaries themselves. Okay, but here, the question is suggesting that Fairview College actually purchases or sells or gives the uniform and stationaries to the students. So we can now say opening stock of of uniforms. So what we talk of uniforms there, I can see uniforms there to be 4,200,000. That's 4,200. So what's the purchases of uniform for the year? What do we have now? We have stationery purchase, uniform supply 30,500,000. Okay, so we have 3,500. So when you add what do you have? You have 0,0743. Okay, and then what do we now have? We have opening stock of stationaries. Here we have 1,400,000. So we have 1,400,000. So if you add up, what do you have? What do you have there? You have 3,470. Okay, plus 1,400. So this is 36,100. So we now have what? Purchases of what? Of stationery. The stationery there, so purchased, I have 10,250,000. So we have 10,250. So if you add up, what do you have? 0,5,3,6,4. So what do we do? Less closing what? Stocks. So in the closing stocks there, the question said we have inventory at the 31st December 2017. Uniforms is 900,000. Okay, uniforms 900,000 plus what do we have there? Stationery 680,000. 680. So 900. Okay, 900 plus 680, 1580. We have 1580. Okay, so if you take that out, what do you have? Okay, take it out from 46350. We have 44770. So this is your cost of what? Sales. So bring in here 44770. So we take that out. Okay, so we have 622,360 minus 44770. We have 577,590. 577,590. Okay, so this is your what? Your gross profit. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll say other what? Incomes. So we'll call that note what? 3. So what are the other incomes? As a school, they are also involved. You can take this, but I'm taking this off. Okay, as a school, they are also involved in some other what? Activities. Okay, so we'll say note what? 3. Okay, which is other income. So what are the other incomes? From this, I can see what there charges for external exams. Okay, so what are external exams? External exams are like WAEC, NECO, IGCSE, and all that. So you charge students pay, and then you register them for the exam. So most times schools make some money out of it as well. Okay, so there are 2 ways we can do this. We can capture all the amount as other income, and then capture the what? Cost of registering the students as what? Expenses. Or we can simply just get the income items. Okay, so let's go. So we say external exams, other income. Now we have external what? Exams. Okay, so what do we have? Charges for external exams is what? 14 million. So we have 14 million minus what is the registration for the exams? 13,250. 13,250. So what are we saying here? The school charged 14 million, then spent 13,250 on the exam. So that means there's an income there. So what is the difference? So we have 14 million minus 13,250. So we have 750,000. Okay, that is what I have there. The next one, charges for annual sport. So we have annual sport festival. Annual sport festival. Okay, what are the charges there? I can see 15 million. Now, what do we have? Sporting activities, they spend 13,100,000. 13,100,000. So what I was saying is that for annual sport festival, the school charged students or participants 15 million and they spent 13,100,000. So what's the difference? So they made some money there. So we have 15 million minus 13,100. So what I have here, I have 1,900. So any other income, any other income, so there's no other income. So when we add this together, when we add it up, rather, we have 1,900 plus 750. So what do you have? 2,650,000. So other income here is 2,650,000. So when you add up, okay, what do you have? 577,590, okay, plus 2,650. So we have 580,240. So this is our what? Gross what? Income. What's the next one now? Total administrative and what? Running what? Expense. Let's call that note what? 4. So we have note what? 4. Okay. So what's the first thing there? What's the first thing there? I can see salaries and wages. So we have salaries and what? Wages. Is there any additional information? Salaries in arrears, 300,000. So at this level, you must understand what accruals means, right? Accrued expenses at the end of the year. What do you do? What do? You add up, right? So you can take that class on jadosconsulting.com if you don't know what we're doing here. So we have 128,000 plus what? 300. That will be 128,300. Okay, that's salaries and wages. What's the next one? What's the next one there? Other administrative and running expense. Other administrative and running what? Expense. Is there any? What I have here is 102. So that's 1,020,000. Is there any information on that? No. So we have 1,020. So what other expense are we considering here? What other expense are we considering here? Okay. What about bank loan? There's interest on bank loan. According to additional information there, interest on bank loan there, I can see 1.2 million. So we have interest on what? Loan, 1,200,000. Okay, that's additional information 2. So what else? Let's charge our depreciation. Depreciation was charged on all assets except land and building at 10% straight line method. So what are the assets there? We have furniture, fittings, and equipment. So we say depreciation on furniture, fittings, and what? Equipment. 0.1 times. How much is that? 55 million. So what do you have? I think that's 5,500, right? 0.1 times 5,500. So we have 5,500. What's the next one there? Vehicles. Vehicles there is 15,000. So depreciation on what? Vehicles. That will be 0.1 times 15,000. What do you have there? 1,500. So what's the next asset item? I can see plant and machineries, 15,900. So we have depreciation, plant and what? Machineries, 0.1 times 15,900. So what do we have there? We have 1,590. 1,590. So any other fixed asset or non-current assets, as the case may be, okay? So that's it. That's it. All other items are balance sheet items. I don't believe at this level you know how to prepare your balance sheet. If you have questions, you can reach me on the numbers displayed on how to prepare the balance sheet, or what we call statement of financial position. So we have total expense here to be 128,300 plus 1020 plus 1200, okay, plus 5,500 plus 1,500 plus 1,590. So I can see 139,110 here as total expense. So we have 139,110. So if you take that out, what do you have? What do you have now? So we have 580, 240, excuse me, 580, 0 minus 0 here, we have 0, okay. 4 minus 1 here is 3, 2 minus 1 here is 1, 10 minus 9, 1, 7 minus 3, 4, 5 minus 1 is 4. So we have 441, we have 441, 130. So let's check it out with our calculator here. Let's check it out with our calculator. Okay, so we've checked it. It's actually 441, 130. Okay, so this is your what? Your net what? Profit. If it's a loss, then it's in bracket. Net profit is where your what? Gross income is more than your what? Total what? Expense. Loss is where your what? Total expense is more than your what? Gross income. So this is what we have been asked to prepare: income statement. Remember, as an accountant, you can give your management other reports. You can, present reports in different units, like junior category, senior category. You can as well present the reports, okay, in classes, JS 1, 2, 3, SS 1, 2, 3, okay, and then you can actually do that if you want to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a way of trying to make them understand how each unit has performed. So you can let them know how junior category has performed or how senior category has performed. And let them know how GSS1 has performed, how GSS2 has performed, how GSS3 has performed, SS1, 2. You can do them in classes like that. And then you can also prepare your statement of cash flow, or what we call cash flow statement. You can prepare your balance sheet from here. If you want to have an insight on how to prepare those other reports, you can reach me on the numbers displayed. Okay, if you have questions, you can drop the questions in the comment section or reach me on the numbers displayed. I'll be there to reply you with the right answer. Don't forget, you can actually support us by donating to the account numbers displayed. Okay, we believe what we're doing is useful and it's more like an empowerment. Pay for things like this, but we are doing it for free, and we're saying if you believe that what we're doing is okay, you can as well. So that is it for this class. Like I said, if you have questions, you can reach your number displayed. You can let us know how you want to be of help to us, or let us know if you have clarifications that you want us to help you attend to. Okay, you want to also know how to prepare the state of financial position for this sort of business. I want to know how to prepare the cash flow statement for this sort of business. You can reach me, and then let's help you out on how to prepare the statement of cash flow. Of course, you might want to just try and handle value-added statement, even if it's not that. But then you can want to try value-added statement as well. You can reach me on the number displayed to let you know how to prepare value-added statement. Thank you.